This is your final bout of the evening. Your men's Grand Prix medium heavyweight championship battle with a 10-minute time limit. Training out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, and representing Dream Arts, Isaac Baez.
Isaac Baez representing Dream Art Houston, now relocated to Houston, Texas. Pulled off a beautiful Kimura in the first round, in his first round match against Andre Porfirio. Looking to take away the gold to become the first ever IBJJF Flow Grappling Grand Prix champion against Manuel Ribamar. Jake Watson, what do you think is going to happen here?
I think we're going to see a similar battle to what we saw versus with Manuel Ribamar versus Ronaldo Jr. Will it be Ribamar able to slow down the game, or will it be Izaki getting his game going?
Training out of La Habra, California, and representing Rodrigo Pinheiro, Manuel Ribamar.
Manuel Ribamar, not from La Habra, California, actually now from Texas, originally from Manaus. Ribamar, the guard tactician, had an amazing first round matchup and was able to neutralize a lot of the attacks of Ronaldo Jr. Kendall, what do you think about this matchup here?
Man, I think he had a very, very close first round win. I think that probably gave him a big boost. He needed to come in and believe it was his time to win this men's Grand Prix.
All right, here's the tale of the tape, the final, the culmination of the whole event. 29 years old versus 26, a slight height discrepancy, but weights are identical. Here we go.
All right, here it is, the final match of the evening. The final match of the men's GP, the first ever IBJJF Flow Grappling Grand Prix. Don't forget, guys, if you're watching at home, we're going to have the IBJJF Absolute Grand Prix next month, as well as Who's Number One, live here on Flow Grappling. And in 2023, you can expect more of these IBJJF Flow Grappling Grand Prix. So stay tuned. We're going to be making announcements about all the upcoming events very shortly here on Flow Grappling. But back to the action here.
Big throw attempt there on the edge by Izaki.
Yeah, and Ribamar looking back at his corner saying, no, relax, I got this. You see him put his hands up like, no, guys, trust me, I got a plan.
And this is similar to what we saw in Manuel's first match as well. There was a big exchange on the feet, a lot of foot sweeps, some wrestling, some judo attempts. So he definitely feels right at home here. He said in his interview earlier that this is what he wanted to show off today. He wanted to show his stand-up game and kind of impose some new stuff with this weight division, and it's definitely what we're seeing from him here.
Look at the hard pushes and the explosive takedown movements from Izaki Baez. In contrast to the very relaxed, very poised approach by Manuel Ribamar.
Ribamar looks unfazed, but when we got a close-up on his face after the first match, he was pretty scathed up. He was pretty scratched up by Ronaldo Jr. That was a very aggressive match.
A lot of blood.
Yeah, but he's just looking like, it's okay. He's just chill, you know. It's all good here. Trying to make sure that his daughter doesn't cry in the corner there, seeing daddy get bruised up. But in all seriousness, you know, this is a great match. You know, two of the greatest jiu-jitsu competitors of the modern jiu-jitsu era. Izaki Baez, nice.
Big outside single.
Yeah.
He was almost able to score with it, but Manuel Ribamar doing such a great job circling and just barely keeping enough space to keep Izaki from getting to the back, because that outside single, it can lead to a great regular takedown position where you put your partner's back on the mat, but it can also open up such beautiful back clinch entries, and that's exactly what we started to see.
I think he didn't finalize it because the timing was just off for a second. A lot of times I see people, if they're coming at you and you're able to get that outside single, the timing is right, but he kind of did it as Ribamar was posturing up, so that may have just prevented the stabilization of the single leg, and that's why we saw Ribamar kind of circle with it and escape. But it was a great attempt, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that in this match.
I agree. One thing that I'm loving seeing from these guys is typically when you see people that have traditional judo grips and they're kind of walking around the mat, you don't know if there's going to be a lot of action. But what we notice here is Izaki's left hand on the belt. He switches between the leg, the belt, the back of the gi, and Ribamar Hibamar uses his right hand to go from the collar or even the cross collar and then back to the underhook on the same side. So the nice thing about this is this opens up judo and wrestling to be combined instead of like one strict style that can sometimes athletes mitigate each other's styles and attacks when we see that. But these guys are very open on both ends.
Now Izaki Bayen's initiating 2 grips on the collar, it looks like. We saw Hibamar use that snap-up double leg attempt on Ronaldo Jr. earlier. And so far, it's been a lot of aggression from Izaki Bayen's.
7 minutes and 13 seconds left in this match. No points, no advantages, but we saw a couple. I'm surprised that wasn't an advantage for the outside single there. That was pretty. I mean, he didn't get him on his back, and I guess for enough time. But
it was tricky because I don't think he got him on his back for enough time, but then also it looked like a lot of control because he went from there to the back, but he also didn't secure the back clinch position for enough time for an advantage. So it was like half of each.
Exactly.
Yeah, one interesting thing I'd like to note just watching these two is the longer they spend on the feet, the less time they spend on the ground, obviously. So I wonder if that plays into the game plan of Hibamar as well, is to try to keep the match on the feet for a while to give himself more time, I guess less time to work, but more in his favor to hold a lead.
Right. We see that a lot, especially with athletes that are both have strong takedown games. We kind of see this this management of the time, management of the clock in order to get to the ground and then have less time to hold the lead, especially if they are with someone who's very dangerous from the guard position because they take them down, but now they have to defend against a dangerous guard, right?
Yeah, the 2022 World Championship, we also saw, I believe, or it might have been the 2021 World Championship, actually, we saw Izaki Bayen's get thrown by Jackson Nagai with a Tomeo Nagi.
Now that was very interesting. Sorry to interrupt you, Jake. 1 penalty only awarded to Hibamar. Normally when we see exchanges like this, we might see a penalty apiece, but I believe from the referee's perception, Manuel Hibamar was doing more staying on the edge, and Izaki was really pressing the action, kind of pushing Manuel to the edges during these takedown exchanges. Or they could imagine that Izaki is putting on these attacks and Hibamar is forcing the action to the outside. So either way, that's why there's 1 penalty and not 2.
And even with that penalty, 10 minutes is a long time. We're only 6 minutes into this match. So far, not a lot of offense happening on either side, mostly from Izaki, but there we see the first guard pull of the day. Well, of the match. Jumping right into the closed guard, and it looks as though perhaps.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there. It looked like it was a clean. It was a clean pull.
Oh, it is a ripped pair of pants.
That is a first. Off of a closed guard pull, he tore his pants just by squatting.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let this be a reminder not to skip leg day. I know it seems like perhaps you'd want to maintain your gi pants and their integrity, but Izaki Bayen's a very strong competitor, now having to switch gis with looks like Rodrigo Lopez.
He's like, I got you, bro. I got you.
Yes.
Yeah, 540. I think that this break in the action could actually be in Hibamar's favor as well, because he is down on 1 penalty. It's a very slight negative, but especially mentally, this is a tough spot to be in when you have someone someone who's very hard to score on in general, Izaki. Of course, we know that he's very aggressive. He's always looking to push to where he wants to score and submit. But even if he's not able to do that, especially with a lead where the pressure is off, then he's very difficult to score on. So Hibamar's going to have to develop some sort of system to turn the scoreboard in his favor.
Now, you know, I got to say, just the mental distraction it is about having to change your pants and they're ripped. It's like kind of embarrassing for a split, you know, for a second into the match, and it's, you know, it shows what focus Izaki has just to get right back on the mat, looking determined. You know, Hibamar now.
I love seeing Hibamar here. He does the same system, no gi. He loves this position. We have a lot of support for Hibamar here in the crowd tonight. A lot of the fellow athletes said they wanted to see him win. He has a big, big favorite, even though he's not a favorite in the rankings necessarily like Izaki. Favorite emotionally, you can hear that right now in this arena.
Oh, and Izaki doing a great job getting himself back out on the outside. Hibamar with a great guard.
Yeah, Izaki does this amazing job, similar to Tainan Dalper, where he puts enough pressure in, and he's able to just kind of really just escaped the connection in a split second and then starts the blitz blast. As you see there, now trying to get to the back of Hibamar is Izaki Baez. Hibamar is doing a great job of defending, but man, Izaki is out for blood right now.
My goodness, what dynamic movement from Izaki Baez. Hibamar doing a great job, like you said, getting to his side, but what is he going to do from here? We saw earlier, Andre Porfirio, it was everything he could do just to get a little bit of space from this position, so I wonder what Hibamar will do different in this position.
I mean, I think that was such an excellent display of depth perception from Izaki, because he was continually making space side to side, but when he saw that split-second opening, I mean, we're talking about like milliseconds to be able to notice when that happened and the opportunity, the window open to drop the weight and go hip to hip and bypass not just the legs, Emmanuel, but the hips and force him to turn and open up his back. And again,
and Hibamar, once he spun and he saw that it wasn't going to get him anywhere, he was able to get back into position, and now he's back in his guard. Great recovery for now from Emil Hibamar as Izaki Baez puts the pressure back on once again.
I mean, what a turn of events. That was a very close near pass, a near back take, scores one advantage. And so now, even though he did all that work and was so dominant for a moment, has a very small lead. And if Manuel were to score from here in any fashion, he almost looked to have like a single leg come up sweep a couple moments ago, then he would be in the forefront of this.
Yeah, you see Rodrigo Pinheiro saying to the referee, he's not doing anything to try to pass. He's just trying to say that Izaki was stalling, but Izaki's doing a great job of raising the hips of Hibamar. Hibamar's guard is just so damn flexible.
Yeah, almost flipped him over completely.
Yeah, I was gonna say in that one scramble position, Izaki looked like he was like practicing on like a Pilates ball when he was able to kind of rotate all the way around and ended up just back inside the close guard of Hibamar there.
It's similar to what we saw with Isaki's previous match with Porfirio, because he has such beautiful pressure with elevating the hips over the top of the head and smashing people in half. But when you have these top-level guys, these guys have the best guard retention, they're able to find just enough space to somehow return here again.
Izaki now stacking the legs, or trying to stack the legs there of Hibamar.
See a little bit of urgency in Hibamar's corner there as well with Rodrigo Pinheiro really calling for the referee.
Yeah, very hard to call stalling here though when Izaki lifts the hip off the mat continuously, because this is almost a stalemate of a position for both athletes, because if they release their grips, one of them is going to be at a disadvantage. But if he drives him out of bounds continuously, that's when we might see a stalling call from the referee.
There is the stalling call from the referee. Only an advantage separates the two now with 2 minutes left. You see Hibamar willing to put his legs back over the top, seeming to try to find some sort of opportunity to maybe get a piece of offense going.
Yeah, I think Hibamar understands now at this point. He can't play that game anymore. He's got to go for it. He's got to, he has no choice at this point.
I'd also argue that it's much more motivating now that that penalty is on the board, because this is a very, very narrow lead at this point. If he has any sort of advantage, then even anything on the scoreboard, he's ahead.
See Rodrigo Pinheiro telling Emmanuel Hibamar, do not stop, continue to attack, because he's down by one advantage. This is a very, very tight match. 1 minute, 50 seconds left in this matchup. Izaki, very, very different match than Izaki's first match. Similarities in their guard retention by Hibamar, as Andre Porfirio has. Now look at there it is again. The beautiful guard work of Emmanuel Hibamar. But he's coming up on a single leg there.
Wow, that was a beautiful switch by Izaki. He noticed he was running out of bounds. That was a very, very strategic adjustment. He had to turn the other way so that he wouldn't be called for fleeing the mat. He escapes his foot. Now back in the close guard, a minute 20 on the clock. Hibamar knows that he needs something on the board. Will he try the same entry again?
Izaki does such a good job of escaping his leg from that laced leg of Hibamar. Hibamar's hit it about 2 times, and Izaki's able to get out. It's man, he's just got such good defensive counters here.
And Izaki needs to be really careful not to get awarded another penalty here. His hips are back. He's not amounting a lot of offense, and Hibamar's really going for it. He's going for it. This is like a tighter entry, Kendall.
He's got the hips as well. He's looking to invert, and he's got the hips to the mat. this is a better chance to score if he can retract his leg and get on top than actually sweeping from the bottom underneath his hips. I don't think he's going to be able to get Izaki there. Now Hibamara
big moment.
gets to the top position. He's
able to sweep.
Almost to the back, almost to the top. Izaki counters and puts Hibamara down.
Izaki Bayan spinning around to the backside. And it will be Izaki Bayen's getting the advantage with 25 seconds left, Ricardo. It was such a close opportunity.
Hibamara's looking, he's trying to figure out what's going on with the score right now. I think he's very confused. But Izaki is up. 2 advantages against Hibamara, 10 seconds left.
I think perhaps Hibamara was confused, maybe thinking that he got the advantage.
Yeah.
Now he's up to his feet, possibly trying one more, but it looks like Izaki Bayens will be your IBJJF Grand Prix medium heavyweight champion, winning by 2 advantages. Great effort from Manuel Hibamara. Ricardo Montoya, what a final moment.
That was very technical, very tactical, and the final 2 minutes essentially was a lot of heat in that match, and just amazing work by Hibamara, amazing tactics by Izaki Baez, and Izaki continues to show the world why he's one of the greatest jiu-jitsu competitors of the modern jiu-jitsu age, especially in the gi. And he's walking away with $10,000 today. The first, and the honor of being crowned the first ever IBJJF Flow Grappling Grand Prix champion. Congratulations, Izaki Baez.